You're already dead, sinner. You destroyed your spirit in the ways of shame. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at the disturbing yet undeniably impactful cult portrayed in Red State. Let's begin. 5 Points Trinity Church, otherwise known as the Shepherd's Chapel in the movie, is a church founded and led by Abin Cooper. It's a relatively new church with a large, very young congregation of seemingly devoted followers. The church is located deep within the rural Ozarks of Missouri, away from society and prying eyes. The church lives completely separately from the rest of society, their women dressed conservatively, and their men wearing beards and traditional clothing. The church seems to follow the mainstream Baptist teachings. However, they have a much more fundamentalist view of Christianity and conservative values. This includes the belief that premarital sex, extramarital affairs, homosexuality, pornography, drinking, and drugs are all abominations and sins that need to be confessed to. But if done with a partner of the opposite gender, it can be forgiven by God. And these are only some of their beliefs. The church follows a strict rule of confession. Members are encouraged to confess even the most minute of sins to their pastors, who in turn will lay down punishments for those sins. These punishments include writing out passages of the Bible as penance, going on fasts, saying prayers, and in extreme cases, banishment from the church and shunning from their community. The church also believes that Satan is active and alive in today's world and must be constantly fought against. To that end, the church teaches that one must remove oneself from the temptations of the world as much as possible, including banning things such as television, secular music and books, pornography, and most forms of secular media. The pastor of the church is the main figure of authority. The members believe their pastor to be a gifted preacher, healer, and an inspiration from God. He has absolute authority over the church and its members, and any decision made by him is final. The members of the congregation look up to him as a father figure, listening to every word he says. The pastor, however, takes advantage of the blind devotion from his congregation, using them to acquire wealth, power, and even sexual gratification. He also uses his position to prey on vulnerable people, leading them into deadly traps. He manipulates the people of the town into thinking that his church is doing good deeds and helps people. The truth is that the church is a front for a criminal organization that lures in unsuspecting victims and kills them using brutal methods. The first thing you notice about the church is how secretive they are. The services are closed to non-members, and the church does not advertise its presence in any way. No signs or banners are placed outside, and the driveway is hidden from the main road. All of this is intended to keep the church activities secret from outsiders. The second thing you notice is how controlling the church is. Members are required to follow strict rules and regulations, and any infraction results in punishment. This control extends to all aspects of a member's life, including what they wear, who they talk to, and even what they think. The church leaders monitor their members closely and punish anyone who steps out of line. Third, the church is extremely isolated. Located in the middle of nowhere, it is far from civilization and the prying eyes of outsiders. This isolation is intended to keep the church activities secret and prevent anyone from leaving. The church is led by a charismatic and manipulative leader who has gained the trust of his followers. He is a master manipulator and uses his powers of persuasion to control his flock. He is responsible for many of the evil deeds committed by the church, including the killings. Despite his evil nature, he is revered as a prophet by his followers, who believe he is chosen by God. The church has been able to get away with their evil activities for so long because of the blind faith of their followers. Members are brainwashed from the moment they join and are cut off from the outside world. They are made to believe that the pastor is a prophet of God, and that the church is the only source of truth. This makes it easy for the leaders to manipulate and control them, getting them to do whatever they want. The church is dangerous. Its members are willing to do anything to protect their church and its secrets. They are fanatically devoted to their pastor and will defend him no matter what. This makes it difficult for anyone to expose the church or its activities, as anyone who tries to do so risks being targeted by the church. The main purpose of the church is to lure innocent people into their trap and then kill them. They use various methods to attract their victims, such as pretending to be a charitable organization or using false identities.
Ow.
Once their victims are inside the church, they are held captive and tortured before being killed. The church also uses its members to spy on the townspeople and gather information on potential targets. They keep a close eye on the town and identify people who may be vulnerable or easy to manipulate. The church has a long history of violence and bloodshed. The members are not afraid to get their hands dirty and will do whatever it takes to protect their church. They have been involved in numerous killings and torturings, and there is no telling what they are capable of. Overall, the church is a sinister and evil organization that should not be messed with. Its members are brainwashed and fanatically devoted to their pastor, and they will stop at nothing to protect him and his secrets. The church is also extremely violent and dangerous, and anyone who crosses them does so at their own risk. This is a very interesting topic, and I hope you learned something new. If you're interested in learning more about cults, I highly recommend watching documentaries about them and reading books on the subject. There are many resources available that can help you better understand the psychology of cults and how they operate. I personally enjoy watching documentaries on Netflix and HBO Max, but there are also many great books on the subject. Remember, education is the key to protecting yourself and others from falling victim to a cult. By learning about cults and how they operate, you can better spot the warning signs and take steps to protect yourself and your loved ones. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and share if you enjoyed the video. Your support means the world to me. Till next time, stay safe.